typically I don't like talking about this stuff. I like straying away from whatever mainstream media is talking about. I don't like going on the same old, but I can't help but to bring it to attention this time. I mean, bro, all the beef between Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James, what the hell going on with this? Like, this is crazy, bro. Like, I couldn't help but to bring it up and have a conversation about it. And just to give some backstory on what's going on. So it all started with, correct me if I'm wrong too, feel free to jump in. LeBron and Stephen A., when LeBron confronted him courtside and was telling Stephen A., keep my son name out your mouth and, you know, don't talk nothing about my son. You can say stuff about me, but don't say nothing about my kid. Then Stephen A. kind of went on every network possible and went to explain his case and explain his side of why he wasn't wrong. And this is a slippery slope because it continued to go on because Brown, he showed up on ESPN kind of dropping bombs, spilling the beans. And I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't mad at it at all. Then this is the latest. We get Stephen A. Smith saying, if he would have put a hand on me, I would have swung on him. So, bro, all the drama, what the hell is up with this, bro? Like, come on, man.
I don't know. So Stephen A. Smith has been in the business of covering sports for a very long time, and he's no stranger to controversy, in my opinion.
This is facts.
If there's one thing that Stephen A. Smith, that brother knows how to strike a nerve, whether it's with athletes, whether it's with fans. It could be your mama, your daddy. So Stephen A. Smith know how to rub somebody the wrong way. So talking about the man's son, while he's having one of the greatest 40-year-old seasons in the world, but you choose to talk about his son, I think that's pretty crazy.
I think it's a low blow, and I think this is a bigger problem in the NBA, which we'll discuss. We'll get to this in just a second. But, you know, Stephen A. definitely rubbed people the wrong way. 1 minute he's saying, you know, Brian isn't this, he isn't that, and then now he's apologizing. Then he's talking about, I would have swung on him. Then he's like, oh, it was my bad. I went too far talking about his family. And like, we're seeing a lot of back and forth of, oh, okay, you say this bold statement, then you renege on your statement. Like today, it was the whole, oh, you didn't attend Kobe's funeral. You didn't go to D Wade's retire. Then he put out a tweet, oh, you know, my bad. I rescind my statement. And like, come on, man. Like, stand on business. That's all. That's my perspective on it. Stand on business. If you wouldn't say it to the man's face, then don't go up to him, saying it in person, and don't go say it when he's not around. That's my whole thing, and that's the way I look at it. And I think in today's era, sports media has gotten so comfortable with saying things behind a microphone or saying things behind closed doors that they wouldn't even dare say to players in front of their face or in the same room. So that's my perspective on that. So Brian going on that Pat McAfee show and kind of airing out all of the dirty laundry, I'm loving it. I'm loving every second of it.
You're about to say in this age of the NBA, so not only do those guys behind the microphones have a voice, but now the NBA players are in the media heavy.
This is
they're
true.
Going on podcasts. They got their own podcast. They're making guest appearances, and they're making their voice heard. So when something rubs in the wrong way, they're very liable to respond.
This is so true, bro. This is probably the era, the emergence of athletes using their voice the most because they are jumping on these podcast platforms and they're creating their own podcast platforms. So it's like, you know, this is definitely not the time to be saying stuff and expecting someone to just let it fly. And that's kind of my whole thing with the LeBron situation is like, bro, Bron has spent 20 plus years in the league. He's letting everything fly for the past 20 years. Out of all the craziness that people have said about LeBron, he's let it all fly. So I love the fact that now he's more outspoken about it. And I love the fact that, hey, Stephen A., you kind of crossed the line talking about his kid, whether his kid is a professional or not. But you crossed the line just a little bit, saying some things about his kid. And that was the final straw for LeBron. It set him off. Apparently it set him off. So I'm content with whatever reaction LeBron is giving, whatever he's saying on these platforms, it's well-deserved. The man has been quiet for 20-plus years. He's allowed to say whatever the hell he wants now at this point. So that's how I look at that situation.
Bron said it perfect. He said, my job is to protect my household. The James brand, the James fam, that's his brand, that's his household.
This is true. This is so true. So look, all right, now let's go into some of the stuff he was saying, because not everybody might have heard all that LeBron was mentioning when he went on the Pat McAfee show. So I'm gonna just throw a couple of things out there just to give you guys an idea. He said, not verbatim, he didn't say it. I'm about to paraphrase like crazy. I'm a paraphrase. So he mentioned the NBA lottery, Cleveland getting the first pick in 2003 could have possibly been a little rigged. I ain't saying it is, but again, he didn't say it was. He was just paraphrasing and saying everything just worked out too perfect for Cleveland to get the number 1 pick and he get drafted to his hometown. He just seen some similarities there and still continue to see similarities as Derrick Rose was drafted. And you look at what was the other name? I think it was Patrick Ewing as well with the Knicks. Yeah, just like some similarities there. Not saying there's rigged. That was one of the things. He said Boston Celtics, Big 4, no longer a Big 3 because they had Rondo. Rondo has been a dog. I've always felt this way. I can agree with that. He also commented on Brian Windhorst, the sports reporter. He said, these guys are weird. They say he's my best friend, but he's weird. What else am I missing? I know it was a bunch. I know he said a lot of different things on there, man. And I would play the audio, but it would be a lot of in between on there. We got the response of Stephen A saying he would have swung on him. Absurd. Just ridiculous.
Completely absurd.
Ridiculous. But to cap all of that off, LeBron hit a game winner in the night. So he went on Pat McAfee, got to talking his talk a little bit. And I mean, then after he went on then played the game and then hit a game winner. So my thing here, he said all of this. The thing that stuck out to me most was probably the Boston Celtics thing, Big 4. Where do you stand on that? Like, was that something that was crazy? Or was any of the above that he said on Pat McAfee like something that was just crazy or anything that stand out to you? Where you like, maybe he might have been a little bit wrong right here?
I'll be tuning into LeBron's content from his podcast with JJ Redick to the shop, you know. And so Brock could be a bit of a yap, but he wasn't lying in this one. Rondo was a great player for the Boston Celtics team. He really brought them together. He was the piece they needed to put them over the top.
This is facts. And he was a true guard for the team that had, I mean, a crazy amount of talent on it. And man, that Celtics team, the Celtics team was just, it was a great team. It's the most milked championship ever in NBA history, but they were a great team. And I can agree that, you know, Rondo did play a huge part in that. So I get that. And you know, one of the things I think that stood out to me was probably the comment on Brian Windhorst saying like, you know, these media guys are weird and stuff. And I also seen him elaborate more on just like sports media saying how, you know, sports media people have gotten so comfortable and gotten too comfortable talking about the athlete. And that was something like, man, I really stand on that because now it's to me, it's cool that we're in the era of opinionated journalism and opinionated type of takes. That's all cool. But my thing is like, can we expand on those horizons a little bit? Can it not be the same thing that we're hearing every single day? Can it not be the same narrative that we've been talking about for the past 20 years every single day? Like it's time to switch it up a little bit and at least just like open your eyes and look around the room rather than just focus on the same thing we've been talking about for the last 20 years. That's my stance on it. And like guys critiquing everybody or the media critiquing everybody, that's cool. That's supposed to be there. That helps elevate people. But I kind of just stand on the side of don't say things you wouldn't say to this person in the room if they're not there. Like if you're behind a microphone, if you're in a different space, don't say what you wouldn't say to their face. Like that's just how I feel about that. So, I mean, yeah, I'm glad he did it. Above all, I'm glad he went on there and he got to talking what he had to talk about. So, anything you want to add to that, man? Just in general about, you know, Brian going on ESPN and kind of showing his behind?
No, man, whether you're a journalist, you're an athlete, it's all about respect at the end of the day. These are people. They are not their jobs. It's about respect. It's about man-to-man respect at the end of the day.
This is very true.